Hello and welcome to another episode of Subfacts Reacts. And instead of doing music videos this go around, we're actually going to judge a list. We got a list. Rolling Stone put out a list of 101 their top 101 horror movies.
And that's the important thing. They said top.
Yes. Top 101 horror movies.
101 suggestions.
Yes. And so, folks, we're big horror fans on the show. I would actually say Mooney's the biggest horror fan I've ever met. And so we are actually going to go through this list, folks, and we're going to see, is Rolling Stone correct or are they wrong?
I mean, it's... it's so like 101 is a lot. That's a lot.
But there's a ton. You watch 101 horror movies in a week, I feel like. So.
No, what I'm saying is I know they're going to encompass like scary and thought provoking and your somewhat horror drama, right? You know, and I like. Out of the people I know, I'm probably the biggest, but there are people way more sick.
Sure. He's being modest, folks.
But the point is, I wanted to review this list because I saw it and I was like, Rolling Stone's pretty respectable, right?
To some people. I will say, before we get into this, folks, though, before we get into all of that, thank you very much for all the support and the love that you've shown us, especially through the reactions, our vlogs, all the other stuff. If you really enjoy this channel and you haven't already hit subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit like, leave comments. You know, obviously, if we get it wrong on this, then you let us know.
Yeah, like if you have opinions,
absolutely.
Shoot them in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Please hit like, subscribe, the notification button, so when we do more videos like this, you'll be the first to find out. With that being said, Rolling Stone has a history. Like, I know when it comes to the music stuff, they drive me nuts. and I know these lists are almost supposed to drive you nuts, and most of them do. So I don't have any faith whatsoever that Rolling Stone is going to be accurate on this one.
Yeah, probably not.
But we'll go through it. We'll go through it and see. Like I said, let's start with 101. We'll kind of like work.
We're going to scroll through.
We're going to scroll through.
We probably don't know, or, they're old movies.
So let's get the screen up.
All right.
Okay. So number 101 is Dr. Phoebes.
Dr. Phoebes. Like this, Phoebes? I don't even know what this is.
Never heard of it.
Like I could skip this immediately and go fine. You couldn't find 101 that were better, but you couldn't find a better 101. I'll forgive you. Let's just.
To be honest with you, they could have just stopped at 100 because nobody. What's the point of going to 101?
Just to add that movie?
No one. Like, was there somebody in the audience, like somebody in the group that just?
That's a great point.
But you have to add it. They were like, okay, Clarence, we'll give you 101.
Yeah, like no one asked for that. So I already have a problem that you added a movie that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, no one's ever seen it. Number 100 was Ganja and Hess. Once again, you could have skipped that one, put Dr. Phoebes in there, and made it 100.
Okay, I mean, how many? I'm going to keep track of how many we can strike from the list.
We'll go through and we'll see.
Okay, I already have 2.
Oh, wait, hold on. I see a big mistake. There's a big mistake, folks.
What?
Number 92 of 101 is Friday the 13th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 92 is Friday the 13th.
How is that possible?
But I don't want to reveal the fact that we did look over this list, but there's a movie on this list that Friday the 13th inspired. The people who made a movie at the top of this list were inspired by Friday the 13th, and they made it so they could beat Friday the 13th Part 2 out to the theaters. You watch the special on Netflix, you will see they said, we needed to beat Friday the 13th Part 2 out, so we made this movie.
I'll be honest with you, and I actually don't remember the list. I scanned it, but I don't remember it. Maybe Friday the 13th is that low because Jason's not technically in Friday the 13th, the first one.
Fine.
So if they have like Friday the 13th 7 in there, then like in the top 5 maybe, then I'm good.
Okay. The first 7 are absolutely acceptable and should be on this list.
Yes.
Of top 101.
So let's hope.
Number 7 should replace Dr. Ganja, whatever that. Or Dr. Phoebes.
Let's hope that there's more Friday the 13th. Maybe they just put the one in there. Maybe they just put the one in there.
So before that, Blood and Black Lace, Martin, The Blob.
The Descent at 94.
Oh my God, dude, we didn't go in. The Descent at 94. The Descent is fantastic.
That's an amazing movie, folks.
If you haven't seen Descent, you need to rent it immediately. You're talking about women in caves that see these like crazy people crawling around. They're wondering what's going down. They don't know if they can escape. The movie is tense. You feel like you're closed in. If you're claustrophobic, it makes it even worse. That movie is intense.
Okay, and I'm only saying The Descent is obviously way better than whatever Henry is that's next to Friday the 13th.
Henry is not bad, but it's not, I mean, it doesn't deserve to be on the list. It's Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Oh.
It's about Ed Gein.
Oh, okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Number 90 is Pet Sematary.
Again, how do you put one of Stephen King's best movies?
Okay, here's what I just saw something that offends me. Final Destination, the first one, which is amazing, is 82.
Okay, but you're skipping.
I have to. We'd be here all night.
Okay, so you have 4 movies that don't even need to be there. Wolfman, Creature of the Black Lagoon. Who knows? Now you put Us at 94. Okay, I'm not there very happy. But then look at 83.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even see 83. The Strangers is like, that should be top 10. Easy.
It's my top 10.
Easy top 10.
I love horror. When I got out of Strangers, I said, wow, I think I just had a movie in my top 5, top 10.
How is The Strangers not in the top 10? They have it at 83.
83.
Oh my God. Rolling Stone just sucks.
Okay, now we know. Now 82.
Final Destination. The first Final Destination is amazing. Amazing.
It's the best of the franchise.
Yes.
Easy. And you're talking about again, Final Destination inspired all of the other type of horror movies that you have, like Smile, like Final Countdown, even your what do you call it? Like the webcam, the Anna Friend movies. Yeah. It inspired all of that. Without Final Destination, you don't have those movies, and you have it at 82. Ridiculous.
82 and 83. That's just tragic.
Tragic. And then above it are, let's go some of the movies that are above it. Martyrs. Haxon.
Oh, did you just see 80?
80. 80. By the way, 80 is Poltergeist, folks. Poltergeist.
How is Poltergeist?
It changed
80?
the way people lived. Like, they didn't live next to big trees. They were scared about having pools.
My mom used to leave the TV on to snow to scare the hell out of me as a little kid. Yeah. Carol Ann.
People wouldn't turn the TV. People would turn the TV off on purpose. They wouldn't leave it on. Like, if if Paranormal Activity is in the top 79, I'm actually going to throw the microphone through a window.
Well, we haven't gotten there, but look, the fact that Candyman at 76 it should be much higher.
All of these much higher. Haxon, Martyrs.
And by the way,
garbage.
Yeah, the movies we've mentioned, I'm saying top 25,
30, 20. Yeah, some of them.
Not in the 80s.
Poltergeist is top 15, 10.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
Last House on the Left, the original. No, the sequel, not the sequel. The remake is better. Just stop.
Hold on,
Just stop.
I'm afraid of what I'm seeing here. I'm going to scroll down a little bit.
And now I'm going to completely lose it.
Okay, Scream is at 73. There's been how many movies off of Scream at this point? 8?
10? They're at Scream 6 right now. There was a TV show. There's other spinoffs. It made Kevin Williamson's career.
In Scream, the first one is arguably the best one.
Yes.
How is that 73?
And it's Wes Craven. It's a Wes Craven, the king of horror. Wes Craven made it. Wes Craven makes it. It's got to be I can't. I don't have the words.
He might have a heart attack by the end of this list, folks. We're still early on. So then let's.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, you don't want to see number 65, sir.
No, I don't.
You don't want to see number.
Okay, but 69, Repulsion, Midsummer. No, it shouldn't even be in a top 500, and it's on this list. Stop. And over Scream, over Friday. Stop. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Crap. Go.
You don't want. I'm afraid to show you 65.
No, I don't.
You gotta like breathe.
All right, I'm gonna breathe.
Calm down, because 65 is gonna get you. I know.
Oh shoot. I almost said it. I almost cursed. I think we can curse because it's not the official
You can probably
show.
curse on this one.
But like, what in effing God's name are you doing?
65, folks. If you can't see the screen, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. It's not the remake. If it was the remake, that shouldn't even be in the top 100.
Yeah, no, it's not. But
how is that?
Matt, I'm having a very hard time coping here. Nightmare on Elm Street?
65.
65. You're putting 64 movies ahead of Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger, he inspired how many people? And okay, there's like 50 Nightmare type of movies that were made, like 10 in the theater, TV show, inspired the Freddy costume. Like, you don't... I don't have the words, folks.
Like, literally, there's pairs of shoes that are designed for like Freddy Krueger. Like,
yes.
there's the merchandising alone makes it top 10, top 5. It's a franchise. It's a legacy. And quite frankly, if it weren't for Nightmare on Elm Street, that the production company would have folded. Like, literally.
That's a fact. You just mentioned a
100%
fact. That's a fact.
Yes.
That new Dimension Films or
whatever
I think
it
it's
was.
Dimension Films.
Or New Line.
New Line Cinema?
Yeah, New Line.
And I think and Dimension Films together. Completely folded. That movie doesn't get made.
Yes.
Okay, by the way, if you don't know, Friday the 13th changed horror. It did. It changed it. A movie at the top of this list, it also helped change it, but Friday the 13th was the reason it inspired it all. And then it changed again with Nightmare. Nightmare on Elm Street changed it again, folks. It changed it again. They were like, oh, it's a normal slasher movie. It's a big guy with an axe, or it's a big guy with a machete, and then you enter the dream world. Come on.
And he can do anything he wants in your dream. Awesome.
You just changed the landscape of how a killer can attack a teen.
I'm convinced the people at Rolling Stone were on crack when they came up with this list.
And then, by the way,
I'm afraid to see what's higher.
Then, okay, so in the interest of time, you're crawling through 8 inches of vile mud crap for the next like 8 movies.
Okay, but hold on. We should also mention the one I wanted to highlight is The Birds. There's movies.
Where's that? Where number is that?
It's number 61. There's movies.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
There's movies in the horror landscape.
I didn't see the title. Yeah. Birds is amazing.
There's movies in the horror landscape that literally changed society. Meaning, and Nightmare on Elm Street is one of them. While we're already talking about it, but it's like, there's not anybody that doesn't know the name Freddy Krueger. There's not one person in this, that doesn't know.
And you ask anybody who made a horror movie ever after 1970, who inspired you? Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, no,
Alfred Hitchcock.
No, but if you mention anything where people go, I don't really like birds. Did you see The Birds when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Yes, everybody saw The Birds. The Birds made people afraid of birds. Like, there's a ton of people in this world that are afraid of birds.
I'm afraid of birds. I hate them because of that movie.
So to be at 61, and once again, it changed society.
You have 5 movies that changed the landscape of horror, changed society, changed the way people live their lives.
All above 50 at this point.
All lower than 61. 61 and lower. You have 5 groundbreaking movies.
So now I'm seeing a bunch of crap.
Mummy. What's that? I can't even read the title. What is that?
The Mummy. It's Mummy. It's the Mummy.
After that, the one after that, I don't even know.
Oh, I don't even know.
The House of Frankenstein. By the way, they put like 8 Frankenstein films in here. The Freaks, the
Carnival of Souls. Nobody
Village
cares.
of the Damned. No one cares. 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 What's that?
Damn.
Oh, that one's good. That one's good. What number is that? Stop, Roach,
Audition?
go. 53. It Follows.
Oh, It Follows is pretty solid.
This movie should be way higher on this list. For a movie that is very low budget, shoestring actors, like this movie will honestly make you feel a little uneasy. And it's good. And it makes you want to watch. It's like, okay, well, how does it happen? How does it end? Because the concept of the movie is phenomenal. And to be at 53 is sacrilegious. Then 52, if you like horror movies, you absolutely love Asian horror. And Audition is, God, it can't be stopped. It's so good. And it's probably one of the best torture movies out there.
But in fairness, when you think it, once again, we're talking like the societal movies, then we're talking like those life-changing movies. Audition, if it's in the 50s, I can't complain. It should be on the list. I'm saying it should be on the list.
I might put it at 50 if I put everything else above it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you think about like,
point. He makes a good point,
if you think
folks.
about like The Strangers and all the ones that we've already complained.
Solid point. And I'll let you have that.
I have no
problem with it at 52 if you put the other movies ahead of it.
You have to.
Not the crap that they.
You have to.
God.
Well, the worst is what they did to number 49 here. Jaws.
Cat people near Jaws.
That's a societal, like people were afraid to go
society.
into
it's the entire world.
That's what I'm saying. Jaws is the impetus for people being afraid to go in the water.
Okay, folks. I know you've heard of Shark Week, and it's on the Discovery Channel. Is that right?
Yep.
Every year, there's a week of television. All they show 24/7 is shark-related content for 1 week.
Yep.
There's been 5 billion shark movies since. Meg is what, like, you don't have any of this without Jaws. None of it. It never even happens without Jaws.
You don't. Nope.
And it's at 49?
49. And I'm telling you, that has to be, in my opinion, has to be top 10.
Yes.
Anything out of top 10 is sacrilege.
And then you put Silence of the Lambs ahead of it. Silence of the Lambs? I understand it's a good movie, but ahead of Jaws?
No chance.
How does anyone think it's better than Jaws?
It's a good movie. I'm not gonna complain about it. And once again, here's the thing: if Silence of the Lambs at 48 and all the other things get moved up, I don't have an issue.
Again, I don't have an issue.
Don't have an issue.
It's not as good as Audition, but
Jaws. But you got to give Silence of the Lambs, like Hannibal, all the various spin-offs.
Fine, I'll give it some credit.
But like Jaws is just wrong. Like I just don't know how that was even a thing.
It's actually painful. Train to Busan. I don't even. Carrie is a great movie. But again, to your point, I'm fine with it at 44. But you got to bump everything above it.
I think you have to as well. I think Carrie, even bumping things above, should be higher.
Yeah.
For me, that's Stephen King's best movie.
Yes.
And once again, everybody knows the pig blood at the prom. That's one of those things.
Carrie is good. Carrie is great.
How is the Babadook ahead of Jaws?
I've seen the Babadook. I've seen it, and I almost turned it off. It's so bad. I didn't even like the Babadook at all.
But so far, the Babadook is better than Nightmare on Elm Street,
Friday the 13th,
better than Friday the 13th, better than The Strangers, better than The Descent, better than Jaws,
and it's not better than any of those. Then you have Vampire. I told you, it's like 15 vampire movies on this list. Godzilla's probably got 2 or 3. It's crap. Phantom of the Opera. No, not even a horror movie. Stop. The Howling.
The Howling's pretty solid. I did like it.
Howling is not 37.
No
it's solid.
chance. No, it should be in the 100, but it should be lower.
That's 101. If you put Howling in 101, I'm fine.
No, I think Howling's probably in the 80s.
Okay, fine.
I would put it in the 80s
that's
somewhere.
fine. 80s is fair.
Definitely not 37. Definitely not above what we've already listed. Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God. Dead of Night. 28 Days Later, which I didn't mind, but I'm not putting it that high.
28 Days Later was kind of cool. I did like it. I think it deserves to be a little bit lower. Like it should be. No, I mean, it should be in like the maybe 40s, 50s.
Yeah.
I'm okay with 40s, 50s.
I'm okay with 40s, 50s. King Kong, no.
King Kong. Well, no, King Kong, the original, from an impact perspective.
Yes. I mean, if you're going to argue impact.
If you're going to throw an impact, I think it should be in the top 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Just from impact.
All right. I'm not putting it in.
And we have to be but we have to be fair because of like Jaws, same thing.
Sure. Okay.
That's the Jaws from like 1920.
Fair, you got to do it. You're right. Finally, they get it right. Finally. And I'm not saying they get it right in terms of position, but Evil Dead 2 at 33 is maybe a little.
I'd be okay with that at 33.
I'm okay with it. I'd probably put it a little higher, but this is where Rolling Stone gets it right if there's not another movie ahead of it. Evil Dead 2 is the best movie in the Evil Dead franchise. It is. I mean, it's better than Evil Dead, the original. It's better than Evil Dead 3. It's better than the remakes and the spin-offs. Evil Dead 2 is where it's at. If you're going to watch an Evil Dead movie, watch 2. You don't need to watch number 1 to watch 2. Just watch number 2.
I will say the one that I'm looking at right now, I think they did get right, was The Fly, the Jeff Goldblum version at 31.
Yes, again, thank you.
31 is right. That's fine placement. I don't have an issue with it. Great movie. Deserves to be on the top 100.
Better than the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
Better than so they got 2 right.
They got 2 right.
I mean, position is good.
Well, we're in the middle. We're in the middle area where it's like you can just throw stuff, and I get it. If you don't want to split hairs when it comes to this stuff. So
right.
I'm okay. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
Okay.
The Haunting. No. Frankenstein. I told you, like, there's 15 Frankensteins in
But
here.
once again, that kind of goes with the King Kongs. That scared somebody in 1910.
Fine, put one of them in there, not 15.
Here's the thing, too, folks. When it comes to these lists, I do understand the societal impact from like old people. But if that generation's already dead, then kick them off the list.
They're done. You mean you're not
like if it scared people in 1800, it doesn't impact us.
Point. Jaws is still watchable. Frankenstein is not. That's my point. King Kong is not. Like these kids that are gonna watch these. Look at this list and go, maybe I should see some of these movies.
Like my great grandfather's not watching or reading Rolling Stone. You don't need to impress him.
Trust me. I have with. My brother helped my nephew appreciate good horror movies, and he knows. So I would never tell him to watch King Kong, but I would tell him to watch Evil Dead 2. I said, if you haven't watched Evil Dead 2, you're an idiot.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the whole thing, Rolling Stone, their issue is they're catering to people who aren't reading. They're not actually going to read the list. So who cares, folks? Don't put old school Frankenstein on because it didn't impact anybody who's actually reading the list.
It didn't impact me.
No, and if they did a list of like top 100 for people who were almost dead. Then go ahead, hook it.
If you want the almost dead version, great. Then put
but on this list it shouldn't belong.
Okay, and then you get to 26 is Deep Red. The only reason I want to point this out is
how is Deep Red?
No one's ever seen it. No one even knows it exists. But if you want to put a movie that no one's really seen or knew existed, put the movie Pieces in there. Pieces is a fantastic chainsaw murdering movie where someone gets sawed in half in an elevator. Like, I'm telling you, that is not 26, but it could easily replace Deep Red in 5 seconds.
How do you think they did that in the room where somebody goes, oh, Deep Red's got to be 26, and then somebody goes, well, above Jaws and Nightmare on Elm Street and above all these, and they're like, yeah, it's that good.
Okay, I'm going to write down some movies that are already not going to make this list. What's the one with the?
We don't know. We got to finish the list.
Okay, got it.
Let's finish the list here.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, but anyway, this is the stupidity of the whole thing. How is a movie called Deep Red, who's nobody has seen? I don't think the director has actually seen this movie.
No one.
And nobody in the movie has actually seen the movie, and yet that's ahead of Jaws.
Unreal.
Okay, now we're seeing stuff that's a bunch of crap. Like
again, what is that? It says, I can't even read that.
The Devil Rides Out at 16.
Peeping Tom, The Thing should be way lower, not number 23. Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead, yeah, I think that was like the original zombie movie.
Yeah,
you got to give those
way lower.
For us, you got to, but once again, it shouldn't be catered to our grandparents who aren't reading this
Alien.
list.
I don't know what alien that is.
The original. It is. That's the Sigourney Weaver.
It is?
Yeah. You can see the face of the alien. 21. I'm okay with that. 21's fine.
Alien's not a horror movie. It's not even a scary movie.
It's not for me, but
it's science fiction.
But I'm just saying it's not for me, but I'm okay with it at 21. I don't have an issue.
Okay, here's my problem. Dracula, we've seen 8 versions of Dracula, I think. Stop.
And what we haven't seen is The Lost Boys, that's awesome.
Oh my God. The Lost Boys should be on here.
100%.
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man. That's a great Iron Maiden song, but outside
that, not a good movie.
Outside of that, nobody's watched
Qui-Gon? Oh my God.
No.
And these are all above classics.
So now we're getting the big stuff. Okay, top 15, right? The Bride of Frankenstein. You've already got a Frankenstein. Do we need the Bride of?
I think we have 3 Frankensteins.
Probably. I don't think it's necessary. Bride of Frankenstein is no way better than Nightmare on Elm Street. No way better than any of the ones we've already called out. Now they are right. American Werewolf in London, 14. I'll take it. I love American Werewolf in London. It belongs in the top 20, so I'm not going to argue.
That deserves top 20, maybe top 15. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah, so I don't hate.
No, they get it right. They got it right. But the problem is, look what they put above it.
Rosemary's Baby. I can concede once again. That's one of those where so many people were impacted by it as a society. So I can't argue that. It's not for me, but I can't argue that. Now, number 12, the Blair Witch problem. This
is where I want to throw my microphone and get up.
The Blair Witch Project, awful.
It's awful. It's unwatchable bad. It's a piece of donkey doo.
And to say that the Blair Witch Project, which quite frankly, obviously it did great in the box, we can't argue that. The second one, and I think
the only reason it did is it lied to America. It lied.
But any of the sequels or whatever tanked like no other.
Because everyone already knew the truth.
So you're going to sit there and say the Blair Witch Project, which is not scary at all, is...
And really nobody's duplicated.
No, it is...
Nobody's done... They did found footage.
Well, they did paranormal, which sucked. That was awful.
Paranormal was more of like a...
That was a suck fest and a half.
Right, but it's not... I don't know if Blair Witch inspires that. Blair Witch...
I think they did.
Blair Witch is found footage. So it inspired... Oh, God, I can't
but Paranormal Activity was the same thing. It was found footage of... Because remember, like, it was... It was totally found footage.
No, Paranormal Activity? What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're watching...
It's the people who watch the screen and the chick goes nuts at the end.
Yeah.
And he throws her... But it's not found footage. It's like possession stuff.
No, the people were dead. That's what I'm saying. They were watching the people who are dead because at the very end the thing comes out. Anyway, besides the point.
Separate argument.
Same thing. But Paranormal Activity sucked too.
It did suck too.
So,
that's what I was afraid they were going to put ahead of Poltergeist.
What we're saying is Blair Witch.
It makes me so angry I can't even take it.
I will concede Blair Witch. If you put it in the top 100, I'm fine with it. It wasn't for me, but I get it. But it needs to be
putting in top 100.
But it needs to be at the lower end of that top 100.
I'm not putting it anywhere. But
11 is The Shining.
God.
I can't argue.
It's one of the most overrated movies of all time.
I can't argue it because from a societal perspective, I do think The Shining should be in the top 15. But
why? Why would you say that? What society thing did that do? It doesn't move anybody. It was
but you can't.
It was a boring movie. It was lucky enough to get Jack Nicholson, who knocked the role out of the park.
And that's what I'm talking about.
But that doesn't mean anything.
No, but
it doesn't save a movie.
The Here's Johnny aspect of it. There's things.
Fine. Here's Johnny, and he's frozen in the thing.
The whole Red Rum thing. People get it.
Oh, God. That movie could have been 10 minutes, and it would have been a lot better.
I'm saying I'm not going to be shocked or angered if somebody puts it higher. It wasn't necessarily the best.
No higher than 11. In fact, way lower. It shouldn't even be in the top 30. It shouldn't even top 30.
Oh. I'm fine. Anywhere top 15, I'm fine with it.
No, I'm not. That's no you. Issues. That's your thing.
Okay, here's top 10, folks. Oh. What?
Hereditary? No. Throw this list out immediately.
Okay, I got a
Hereditary.
I got a bigger issue.
I've seen it. I've seen Hereditary, and it's garbage. It's just garbage.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre 9, fine with that. That should be higher personally, but anyway.
I don't know if you can get much higher because the movies we.
That's true. If we could bring up the other movies,
Texas could be at 9 or 8, but Texas is so good. The original is so phenomenal.
Yeah, and then
Toby Hobert.
Yeah, Toby Hooper. Toby Hubert. So anyway, Dawn of the Dead, the whole zombie thing. I think we already had Return.
So many zombie movies.
Whatever.
I'm okay with Dawn of the Dead at 30 and the only dead movie on the list, but. Yeah. Come on.
My biggest issue of this whole list is number 7. Get Out.
I loved Get Out.
I hated it.
Top 10, but I loved
hated it. Not scary.
Nope.
Not any it was interesting. It was like a Twilight Zone, but Twilight Zone really wasn't scary. It wasn't.
But by the way, where's Twilight Zone on this list?
We haven't seen it yet.
How do you not put Twilight Zone on the list?
I know, or like Creep Show, or any of those. But I mean, Get Out was basically. I'll be honest with you. You don't have a Get Out if you don't have Twilight Zone, or you don't have a Creep Show, or if you don't have a Creep Show.
I love Get Out. And I'm not putting in the top 10. I loved it. Nowhere near.
For me, it wouldn't make the top 100. But anyway, I get it. If you want to put it at the lower, like 90s, fine. Yeah. I'm not going to complain with you Rolling Stone.
I might put it higher, but I mean it. Get Out is one of those movies that make you think. I think I love the ending. It actually I'm glad they went the ending they did. The other ending was terrible, where he doesn't get away and he gets in jail and he stays in that crazy town.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But anyway,
what's number 6?
Number 6 is Inside.
What? Every movie in the top 10 should be a blockbuster or well-known.
I agree.
Knock it out of the park horror movie that everyone knows exists.
I should say my grandmother should have heard of every one of the movies in the top 10.
Yes. And if it's not, then Inside, no one. I've never heard of it.
Number 5, it makes perfect sense. Quite frankly, that could be higher in my opinion. Halloween.
Easily. Could be number 2.
If you made it number 2, I'd have no issue. I would not argue.
Could be number 2. And by the way, this is a movie that I was talking about. Halloween doesn't exist without Friday the 13th, folks. You watch the Netflix special. They talk about how they wanted to beat Friday the 13th Part 2 to the theater. That's how... come on. It's better than Friday the 13th, I agree, and it's better than Friday the 13th Part 2. And it spawned a lovely 10 movies. I love all the Halloweens. I'm a huge fan of Michael Myers, and 5 is a little low. The worst I would put it is 3, but
they were right at least putting it in the top 5.
At least they got a top 5.
Number 4, Don't Look Now.
What?
Once again,
Don't Look Ever.
Once again, if you're talking horror movies, everything that's out in the world, we agree. Anything in top 15 should be a household name. Should be something that somebody has heard of.
If you have a horror movie conversation with your friends, that movie would come up.
Yeah, it's like it's in this case, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it count?
No one's ever. I've had several conversations about scary movies, horror movies, whatever. Don't Look Now. No one's ever mentioned. No one's ever mentioned it.
No, but here's the thing. Even if you were the only person that did see it and it was the scariest movies you've ever seen, you would also have to understand that it's not going to make the top 100 because no one else has seen it.
That doesn't.
You have to understand, like,
because it's your favorite movie doesn't make it a.
There's been no societal impact on Don't Look Now.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Number 3 is The Ring. I like The Ring. Is it top 3? No.
It's not ahead of Halloween. It's top 10. The Ring is top 10.
I'd give it top 15.
The Japanese version, maybe top 15. Okay, I mean, maybe I'll bump it down.
Because keep in mind,
if I did my own list, I'd have to see where I put it. But the Japanese version is very high.
Keep in mind, in your own list, The Strangers is going to be in your top 5.
Yes.
Nightmare is going to be somewhere in there too.
Yes, easy.
All of the ones we talked about, Friday the 13th is going to be in there.
5,
so The Ring gets bumped for every one of those movies that we've already talked about. So I'm saying top 15, top 20 on The Ring. No way ever should it be number 3. Number
2,
Psycho. I can't argue. I can't. Psycho.
I'm not putting it ahead of Halloween or The Ring. I'm not ever.
I don't think it should be ahead of those, but what I'm saying is...
I'm fine with it being in number 2.
Psycho, societal impact, everybody knows Norman Bates.
Out of this list, I'm fine with it being number 2 because it's already a crap list.
Yeah, everybody knows Norman Bates.
It's not ahead of Halloween and The Ring. It's not.
There's nobody that doesn't know the shower scene. There's nobody that doesn't know Norman Bates.
Anthony Perkins, I mean, and the like you said, the shower scene, but you put The Birds at 90 something.
Yeah, The Birds was
60,
so
60,
low, 60s.
60, and you put Psycho at 2. Yeah. I mean, Birds is right up there with Psycho.
But I will say the sequels to Psycho were even awesome. Like when Anthony Perkins was alive and making those things.
I mean,
they
Psycho
were pretty
2,
good.
Psycho 3. Psycho 3 wasn't that great.
I even like the remake with Vince Vaughn.
That's good. I like the remake.
I was okay with it.
But I'm not putting it top 10.
I personally think it deserves to be in the top 10. I don't
know if I could put a top 10. Not ahead of Texas, not ahead of all the other.
I will say the only thing that they got right on this whole entire list is the number 1.
They did. They got it right.
The number 1, The Exorcist, is a perfect movie.
I'm going to poo-poo the list all the way until number 1.
The Exorcist is my personal favorite horror movie of all time, so they did get that right.
It's not my personal favorite, but I acknowledge that any horror movie list has to have Exorcist at number 1. It has
100%. Yeah,
you're a dummy if you don't. You cannot put it. Sorry, you cannot put that movie anywhere but number 1.
I feel like the Rolling Stone, when the editors all got in the room, they all said, "Okay, well, we know what the number 1 is. Now let's just throw up and try to figure out the rest."
Yeah, you know what? It was like a match game. They probably tried to match. Oh wow, Halloween ended up at 5.
Yeah,
and Get Out ended up at 7. How did that happen? Right?
Yes. So I will say, to conclude,
we're not. No. We're not done yet.
No, we're not done yet. But I'm just
because
saying,
there's several movies they didn't mention.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, is it Shadowland?
Strangeland. Oh, dude, Strangeland. Dee Snider, awesome.
That's top 30.
Top 30 for us, but because it didn't do that well in the box office, I'd have to make it go.
There's a lot of movies out here that didn't do well in the box office.
I'm just saying, if they had Strangeland...
Inside didn't do well at the box office. Hereditary didn't do well at the box office.
If they had Strangeland in the 40-50 range, I'm not going to argue.
Fine. But I'm putting it... Okay. I don't... You can't go lower than 50 for Strangeland. You can't.
I know. I love Strangeland.
Okay. Christine. How do you not put that in the top 100?
Christine
it's in my
solid.
top 50, at least. But top 100 for sure. Christine is...
I think they already gave Stephen King The Shining and Carrie. They gave him The Shining and Carrie. And quite frankly, in my opinion, those are his two claim to fame.
Okay, fine. So then you have Lost Boys. Absolutely.
Lost Boys 100% should be in there, but it's not scary, but either way.
I mean, The Haunt is a low-budget movie that needs to be in there. Sleepaway Camp, Slumber Party Massacre, The Call.
Sleepaway Camp, solid.
It is. The Call, which is a Japanese horror movie, needs to be in there. Shutter, a Japanese horror movie, needs to be in there. Cabin in the Woods.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. How did they not put Cabin in the Woods? We've talked about it on our podcast, folks.
It's one of the most well talked about horror movies.
The last
ever.
15 minutes is the greatest cinematic adventure of all time.
Everyone I've told to watch Cabin in the Woods has thanked me. Yes. There's not a single person who's gone, why'd you tell me to watch that?
No, and honestly, even if you just said, hey, fast forward to the last 15 minutes, you're not going to be disappointed.
And by the way, every woman out there that's a horror movie fan, if you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, watch it immediately. It's got Chris Hemsworth. It has Chris Hemsworth.
There you go.
I mean, he's Thor. Women love Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's a great movie. I don't know how it's not in the top 100. And by the way, it was groundbreaking. It was groundbreaking. It was one of those movies where at the end of it, you're like, I gotta know how. Wow.
I don't know. I think we said Creep Show. That has to be in there. Like, yeah. It's just. I can't.
Like, if you don't have Creep Show, you don't have like Tales from the Crypt. You don't have. There's certain things that spawned other things, but the Twilight Zone
movies could be in here.
But to your point, Twilight Zone should be in there because that started the whole thing.
I mean.
It's just
there's so many misses.
Rolling Stone needs to just stop doing lists because their music lists are garbage. Obviously, their horror movie list is complete garbage. I don't know why they even bother doing this. You know, I think it's to give you a heart attack, sir.
Yeah, I do. I think that's the reason they do it. And thanks for indulging. I hope everyone enjoyed because this is people got to speak out against this. They really need to write Rolling Stone and go, what the F are you doing?
Yeah, and it's so obnoxious that they threw in, like I said, if the whole audience is dead, then doesn't deserve to be on the list.
Yeah.
No one's going to tell you you're wrong, you know?
Yeah.
Focus on the live audience.
Right. A movie made in 1920, those people aren't around anymore. They're just not. They're not here.
Yeah, like if it's a silent film and it was scary to them, hey, you know, they would have freaked out if they saw color. Oh my God. You know, no. Get rid of it. Get some new blood.
I mean, they finally got number one right. Halloween's in the right place. Texas, but that bottom of the list is so abysmally bad.
Yeah. And if you think, and they basically, like anything in the 80s, basically they put at the bottom of the list. And you're like, why?
Yeah, I just don't have the words. I could have made a better list in 15 minutes.
Yeah. So Rolling Stone, you really botched it. You botched it this time, folks. I honestly, like I said, Rolling Stone should get their list writing credibility just revoked. Like they should just
absolutely.
There should be, if there was some police that could go, sorry, you don't get to create a list anymore because your lists suck. Because I'm telling you, every music list they do is jacked up too.
And you know music better than anybody.
Yeah, so horror movies, apparently they don't know that either. I'm afraid they're going to do like sports teams next or whatever. Something where there's like legitimate stats. Well, there's stats for all of this too.
I beg you, if they ever do that,
I think they'll stick in the entertainment world.
Don't ever send me that list. My heart couldn't take it.
No, you would probably be dead. But
if you think I love horror movies, I live and die sports. So yeah.
Anyway, folks, we're sorry, but
we had to tell they were wrong.
We had to spread the word. This list is abysmal. I'm sure you guys will feel the same way. But
take some of our recommendations. Mm-hmm. Seriously, take some of our recommendations. You heard what we liked. Again, if you need it, like Cabin in the Woods, Sleepaway Camp, The Call, Lost Boys, Christine, Haunt, Creep Show, Twilight Zone, Strangeland.
The other thing is, if you think this list is absolutely correct, tell us. You let us know. Write in the comments, what
recommendations you have. Where do you think they went wrong or right?
Absolutely. And so, like I said, I do want to see the person that goes, oh, this list was perfectly fine to me.
Yeah, they're 95 years old.
Yeah, I know. My grandmother's writing in. But even she would be like, no, that's wrong. But yeah, folks, if you disagree, agree, or want to chime in, we both love horror movies. So if if there's a movie that's not on this list, but it's on your list, let us know what you think, and we'll check them out. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button. If you like what we're doing, you'll be the first to find out when we put up new videos like this. So this is the first for us as far as ranking movies and whatnot.
We might do more.
We might do more. So please let us know if we should continue, and we'll take it from there. Have a good day.
Stay up.
Boom.